Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing well out there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great, and appreciate you stopping by. And today, the Miami Heat introducing their first-round pick, Kasparas Jakuc ionis, getting introduced to the media as he dons his new number 25 jersey, welcomed in by Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, Godfather and the coach. Not taking questions, but we did get to hear from Kaz himself. And very interesting what this guy's going to do and see what kind of a prospect he's going to be. It's an interesting blend kind of like the two of the last three picks, right? Because you do have the European experience like Nikola Jovic had, but then you blend it, of course, where he had a year of college basketball as well. And so pretty excited to see what he brings. Everybody's raving about, of course, his playmaking, his rim finishing. Some comparisons, dare we say, some comparisons to the great Goran Dragic, a legend. And though Kalel now wears number 7, and I don't know if number 7 is going to get in the rafters for Goran Dragic, a very great argument that this guy could be the greatest point guard of all time in Miami Heat history if his foot doesn't explode. I've already done this argument. You guys know I love Gogi. But anyway, Kaz now gets introduced to the Miami Heat. And, it was, I wouldn't say anything too earth-shattering that we got to learn about him. But he did point out a couple of things that, he thinks are going to be helpful for him. This was one where he was talking about, what he thinks transitioning from Eurobasketball in Spain to college. How's that going to make him better in transitioning over to professional basketball and the NBA ranks?
Yeah, I think every time I moved to play somewhere else, especially from home when I was just 15, it helped me grow as a person and as a player, learn new cultures, play different style of games because Spain is different than Lithuania. Then I moved to Illinois. Another adjustment to play U.S. basketball more than Spanish. So I think just this all adjustment give me more experience, and obviously it's a process, and I can't wait to start working.
A couple of things that are going to be interesting about this. It is hard not to think about the transition from over to college basketball and thinking about Nikola Jovic and how the Heat hadn't drafted a prospect like that before. And, especially in a while. But, with Cass, it's interesting because, he's not going to be dealing with bigs, right? He's already got pretty good size for him as a player when you're going to be playing in the backcourt as opposed to Nico, where it's hey, he has to bulk up. There is part of this process that means he has to be able to play with men on the court. Even though he had played against men professionally, there is still a difference of the guys he's going to be playing with and taking advantage of that. As far with Jakuc ionis, it's all right, he's already got good size to him, 6'5", 6'6", and, though he did mention about getting in the weight room today, and we'll play this for you about, his ability to get to the rim, and that's going to be a big focus of his, it doesn't feel like it's going to be as pressing physically, at least you would think, as it would be for Kalel or for Nico. Because even you think about somebody like Tyler, very, very thin when he first comes into the league, and a lot's been made every single year about the weight that he's got to put on and keeping that weight on and trying to attack the rim more and having that, that ability. He still was able to succeed at a very, very young age, but he does know that he is going to spend some of this summer bulking up a little bit.
Obviously, I need to put the work in the weight room, building my body, building my strength, and just with the process and with the time, it will come. But I'm just ready to work hard and be the best version of myself.
One of the things that's interesting, though, first of all, the Heat do a very good job of getting these guys, bigger and getting them more effective. That is part of it. But also, hey, he does have to go to Summer League. He does have to go there and kind of learn the system, learn where he's going to get guys going. And I think, the thing that I'm excited to see on a Summer League roster with him is, man, a lot of those guys go there and they want to get their shots up and they want to put up those big scoring numbers. One of the things that's going to be cool for him is when you're a first-round pick, you don't necessarily need to make a show like that, right? And it's not that the Heat don't want their players being aggressive, especially if they're a shooting-type prospect. but you want to be able to, you want to be able to get teammates involved. And I think one of the cool things we saw last year is we saw a very unselfish crew. You look at what like Isaiah Stevens was able to do to really make a name for himself that last year, and a lot of teammates fell in love with it. So with Kaz, I'm excited to see, all right, what can he do? What are those early looks going to be like to Khalil Ware or to any of his Keyshawn Johnson or to Vlad Golden or whoever is on that roster? So we're going to get a little bit of a window into that and seeing, where he where some of that dazzling passing can come into the fold. He was asked today a little bit about his talent. I asked him this also when we had him for a few minutes after the draft. It was funny. We had him after the draft, right? We were like waiting on the call, and I think we were like the last media that got him that night, because I think he gets drafted, does a press conference at the draft. Then I think he does a conference call with the reporters who are there covering it in the media room. Then he does an in-arena interview with Eric Reed via, I guess, Zoom, or he FaceTimes into the arena so everybody can see him. And then like we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm sure he probably like had to go to the bathroom or something because you're just talking and you're going through this rush. And so like we're waiting, but it's one of those waits that like felt like forever because literally everybody else wants to leave the arena. And I think at this point, mind you, we're on the Arena Bowl. We're not like in a media room backstage. Like we're around everybody. Myself, Solana, Tommy Tig, our producer Steph, Ben, who was producing from the Heat, and Ben's like frantically like trying to get him on the phone and whatnot. And they're literally shutting the lights off on us. Finally, we get him. But I asked him about who his favorite players were. Like, does he model his game after? And he kind of had like, the responses for guys who are like pass first great scorers. His go-to guys, LeBron James, Luka Doncic. And then there's some ties with Luka because Luka played in Spain. He played in Spain. So he mentioned today when asked, I believe, by Anthony Chang about like who does he model after? Who does he like to model his game after? And he mentioned the, of course, superstar Slovenian from the LA Lakers and said like Luka, but he really feels like he's got his own style.
I like to be myself, but also like to take some things from other players too. When I was little, I was watching Luka when he was still in Madrid, because I moved to Spain after too. So I watch his like playmaking and self-shot creation. I like how Andrew Nemhard, gives all 100% on both ends on the floor, trying to do the right plays, play a game the right way, shoot open shots. So I would say these two the most, but I just like to be myself.
Hey, I love the fact that, he's, Nemhard, obviously the Pacers having a really, really great year that they're just coming off of, but that effort that everybody's going to wonder, like, hey, what is he like defensively? And I mentioned this in in another video, but Adam Simon had mentioned about the whole defense thing. And he said, listen, I'm going to give the effort. I don't think this is something that he's backing off of, but Adam Simon made the point. He goes like, look, most guys come into the league not very good at defense. Like most teenagers are going to come in here not very good at defense. And a couple things. One, I don't think it's as big of an issue during the regular season, especially, he's most likely going to be in a 6-man role, or not a 6-man role. He's going to most likely be in a reserve role, and we'll see where the playing time goes from there and where that all unfolds. But, if the effort's there and you're trying your ass off, I think everybody can appreciate that. And I do think guys can improve. I think Nico's improved really, really great. I think there was a time where like, hey, he looked completely lost. And I think Nico like holds up pretty solid, pretty steady, pretty solid. So certainly excited to see, what he brings to the table from that. He did mention that, as far as Lithuanian players with, Sabonis, I think it was Valanciunas is the other one, and then he hasn't met those two, but he said today that he did have dinner in Chicago with Matas Buzelis, who, man, Miami Heat saw. That kid is going to be good. He lit the Heat up like a Christmas tree a couple times. Didn't he have a perfect game against the Heat? I think he was like 10 for 10. Ridiculous game, Matas Buzelis. But he said that he got to, and then you would figure, same age range, a little bit more than Sabonis is. But that he is that he got to have a little bit of dinner with him. He is not going to play Eurobasket, so he's going to be completely focused on the NBA season, which for a rookie, seems to make sense. Now, I don't know what to be fair, I don't know what the Lithuanian roster situation is. Maybe they don't need him. Maybe it's one of those things where it's too stacked. He's not going to get playing time. I don't know. I would imagine based on the NBA guys from Lithuania that they probably could. But also, it's going to be his first season. The Heat probably want him up to speed, want him in the facility as much as possible, get settled in Miami, to get drafted. Think about this, though, because it would be get drafted. You got 2 weeks till Summer League. You're probably going to work out with some of your workouts at Summer League are probably going to start. You do Summer League. If the Heat go far, Summer League goes through, goes on for a couple of weeks. You're done. Then in a couple of weeks, you got basketball starting up in August for Eurobasket, all that play. It's a lot. Like, I understand why you would want the focus to be there. While there's always benefit, I would imagine if Lithuania gets another opportunity, then he'll probably go for that. But, even Nico, those tournaments didn't start up till his second year with the FIBA World Cup, and then of course the Olympics. And the Olympics he played, basically on a broken foot. So understand that he is not going to go out there, and he's not going to get some time at Eurobasket. Probably the prudent move. To just focus on being in Miami and getting that focus on here. But look. Kid handled the presser like a pro. Was upset, couldn't be there, boots on the ground today, but we'll get plenty of time to talk to Kasparas Jakuc ionis and on the come up for him, and excited to see how his Heat career blossoms before our very eyes.